Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this.
Oh, hi guys, welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, I want to give my opinion on this MAGA, fueled Jeffrey Epstein saga that the MAGA cult is so obsessed about. We're going to talk about that and so much more. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut-based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook, guys. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you guys want to be able to say stuff without fear of getting blocked, suspended, or deplatformed, head on over to my friends at Minds.com. Also, guys, I do have an awesome affiliate link with Byrna. Byrna is a less lethal self-defense company. They make their less lethal pistols like the Byrna SD, Byrna LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest guys, their compact launcher guys. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment and you guys want to defend yourself in a less lethal manner, well then head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, guys, I do have an awesome, and I mean so awesome, referral link with North Shore Medical Supply. If you know somebody out there like I do who wears adult diapers, who needs to be put in adult diapers like I do, guys, well then send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, where they have their top of the line Mega Max diaper, North Shore Supreme pull ups, and their Turner boosters, guys. So if you know someone out there who needs to wear adult diapers or needs top of the line pull ups, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply and they'll make sure that they are diapered up or padded up as always. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, seriously, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Wow, that was a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen. That was a mouthful, yes. And yes, guys, I am diapered up as always. I am in my North Shore Mega Max diaper with my Eterna boosters. And I also just have a t-shirt today because it's hot and humid out there. And I'm diapered up as always, ready to go. And also, before we go, this week is Amazon Prime week. So if you guys don't have Amazon Prime, guys, you guys can join up. Full links in the description below. They got some awesome deals going on this week. So if you guys want to buy stuff and pay Prime membership, join up at Amazon Prime. Full links in the description below. And yes, guys, like I said before, I'm diapered up, padded up. I'm ready to go. So anyway, guys, I do want to talk about the MAGA obsessed Jeffrey Epstein saga. Okay, it seems like there is a wing of the Make America Great cult group that is so obsessed with the Jeffrey Epstein case that it seems like it consumes them nonstop. It seems like it just fuels them nonstop. They've been so obsessed with, oh, Jeffrey Epstein had this like traffic this and this, and I'm like this. Where's the evidence? Where's all the details? But the fact of the matter is that the MAGA cult is so obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein that these are the same people that are so obsessed with what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, okay? Or they're so obsessed on the same level as those who are flat earthers. Yeah, to me, guys, I don't care what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. Doesn't affect me, doesn't impact me, okay? But the people in the MAGA cult who are all about like, oh, Jeffrey Epstein, oh, people in high power position was connected to Jeffrey Epstein. So what? So what? Okay? If he was connected, then show us that instead of just telling people that. That's why yesterday on X, people were all like non talking about Jeffrey Epstein, talking about wanting to get rid of Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi. It seems like the MAGA cult crowd forgets who appointed these people and who approved these people. It seems like the MAGA cult crowd simply forgot about it. And as I'm here in my diaper and my t shirt, they seem to not understand that. Look, you said you wanted Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi in there. Well, you got them, but then now you don't like them because they didn't give you what you wanted. They didn't give you what you like to hear. And the MAGA cult crowd and the Jeffrey Epstein wing of the MAGA cult crowd, they want to hear that, oh, Jeffrey Epstein had a list, had people on both sides, Democrat and Republican. It's like the MAGA cult crowd and the Jeffrey Epstein wing of the MAGA cult crowd lives in this fantasy land, lives in this Alex Jones, Art Bell conspiracy land. They do. They live in that realm, and this is why I go like this. the people in that wing of it, we're just gonna ignore you. We're just gonna laugh at you. We're just gonna be like this. You guys are as bad as the people on Alex Jones and Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie or the original Art Bell. You guys are as bad as these people. The fact of the matter is, these people live through these conspiracy theories, and many of them have either been debunked or disproven. But I'm going to tell you this: you want my theory on Jeffrey Epstein and why Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi couldn't find all the dirt on Jeffrey Epstein? I think like this: the Biden administration and the deep state had all the dirt on Jeffrey Epstein. They knew these people were getting close to it. So you know what happened before Trump got into office? In my opinion, they probably destroyed the evidence. They probably hid the evidence somewhere so deep that no one is ever going to find it. They probably, in my opinion, the Biden deep state and the Biden FBI probably destroyed all the evidence and all the records on Jeffrey Epstein before Trump got in. And by the time Trump got in, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi got in, almost all the evidence was long gone, wiped, burnt, or destroyed. So whatever they had is probably whatever they had or whatever they could recover. Okay? And I suspect, ladies and gentlemen, that the Biden deep state or the Obama Clinton deep state destroyed all the evidence. And we're never going to get what's recovered. Okay? We're only going to get what's recovered. And everything else was probably destroyed by the Clinton Obama Biden crime syndicate. So it was probably destroyed a long time ago. And whatever Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi got was all was left. So essentially, guys, you guys are barking like, oh, Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, and Pam Bondi are hiding from the truth or hiding from this and this and this. My theory is that the Clintons, the Obamas, and the Bidens destroyed all the evidence on Jeffrey Epstein before Trump ever got into office. And when that happened, they destroyed it so much that essentially, guys, there's nothing left. There's nothing left of the evidence. So to me, guys, to me, whatever was left that Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi was able to get their hands on, that's all that's left. That's all that's left. And then they closed. And then they yesterday said they're closing the case on it because that's all they could find. But then that's not enough for the MAGA cult and for the Jeffrey Epstein cult because they think that they're hiding something. They're hiding something. If they were hiding something, would they be talking about it? Would they be saying it? Would they be like discussing it? No. They're telling that, look, this is all we could find. Okay? This is all we could dig up. There's nothing more we can dig up. Unless you want to dig up the entire planet Earth, there's nothing they could find. To me, I think like this. The Clintons, the Obamas, and the Bidens, along with the deep state, probably destroyed, I'm gonna say like this, almost 90% of the evidence on Jeffrey Epstein. They probably destroyed it, incinerated it, and basically burned it Okay? To the point that no one's ever going to be able to find it. And whatever is found is probably what the ones that, like Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Dan Bongino was able to disseminate. But the MAGA cult crowd, they're going like this. It's like, oh, that's not enough. Oh, they're hiding something. Oh, they're hiding something. Oh, they need to be removed. They need to resign. They go like this to the Jeffrey Epstein cult crowd. If you think there's more evidence out there that Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Dan Bongino haven't dug up, ladies and gentlemen, why aren't you doing the work for them? Why aren't you digging it up for them? Instead of complaining, harping, or going on social media like saying that, oh, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein this and this and this. Why aren't you putting the evidence out there? Why aren't you putting what you find out there instead of just harping it nonstop like a lunatic leftist? Why aren't you? Because you know why? They don't want to make themselves look like fools and idiots. They don't. They don't. That's why I like this. On my X account, I started blocking any MAGA cult member who spews Jeffrey Epstein bullshit, and I go like this: block, reported as spam, gone. It's that simple. Because I don't want to hear it because it doesn't impact me, and at the same time, they hadn't even disseminated the evidence that they claim. I tell people like this: I grew up in a generation where talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words. The MAGA cult wing of, or the Jeffrey Epstein cult wing of the MAGA cult, talk is cheap, ladies and gentlemen. Talk is cheap. You want to talk the talk, but I don't see you doing the walk. Many times I've seen these people who say, "Oh, they need to look harder. They need to look harder." Let me say this to these people. How come you're not doing the work for them? How come you're not helping them look harder? How come you're not giving them the evidence? How come you're not turning it over to the FBI or to Pam Bondi or Dan Bongino or Cash Patel directly? How come you're not doing that? Oh, because you wanna be all talk but no action? Or what's that Elvis Presley song? A little less conversation or a little more action? Yeah. Let's come on. Come on. Let's have a little less conversation and let's have a little more action out of the Jeffrey Epstein cult group. Let's see that because it seems to me these people are all talk but no action. Yeah, no action. That's why I sit there and I look at these people and I go, this is why I'm a libertarian. This is why I vote independent because I vote that way because after seeing what the Democrats are, what the Republican are, what the conservative movement is, what the MAGA cult is, none of these four don't speak for me. None of these four won't accept people like me. They won't accept a DSD person who's Asian American, who thinks for themselves, who has common sense. They don't. So that's why I'm glad I'm a libertarian. I'm glad I'm an independent. Because these people, my God, these people don't even speak for me. Don't even speak at all. My God, really, really, man, yeah. That's why that's why I tell people, man, the Jeffrey Epstein cult is like so obsessed that they probably eat, sleep, and breathe thinking that, oh, the elites are in bed with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, that's why he committed suicide because he had dirt on this and this and this. I go like this. You guys are so delusional that it's not even funny. It ain't. It ain't even funny, and it never will be funny. It never will. But anyway, guys, anyway, I do want to talk about this. Yesterday, Trump said he is sending portion of key missile shipments to Ukraine. This is one thing I'll say this. This is one thing I agree with President Trump on. We should not be arming Ukraine. We should not be funding Ukraine. Why the hell are we getting involved with Ukraine? Why? Explain that to me. Why are we getting involved with Ukraine? It seems like the leftist crowd of pro Ukraine wants to defend them, which means they're defending their money laundering operation. But to me, why are we bankrolling and funding that tyrant, that dictator? Because Zelensky is a natural dictator, okay? He kidnaps men, grown men of military age, off the street and sends them to the front line to their death. And then creates an illusion that, oh, we're winning, when there's mounting evidence coming out that Ukraine is losing, and Russia is gaining more territory than ever. Why are we funding Ukraine? Why? Explain that to me. Explain that to me like a 5-year-old. Okay? Why are we funding this shit? Why are we giving them military equipment? Okay? Why? Ukraine Ukraine shouldn't be getting shit from us. He's depleting our military gear. He's depleting our military gear, and we can't replenish fast enough. This is where I disagree with President Trump on. We shouldn't be funding Ukraine. We shouldn't be arming Ukraine. The fact that he came to the White House one time and disrespected Trump and J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio had to tell him, get the fuck out of America. Get the fuck out. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, we should not be funding, we should not be arming Ukraine. If he wants to arm his country, then go to Europe. Europe is more than willing to arm Ukraine. Go to Europe. Let him get it. Let him. As for us Americans, we need to replenish our military gear. We need to replenish it. The fact that we're running low on our military gear because like the previous administration and now Trump wants to arm wants to send shipments to Ukraine. That's not what I voted for, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what I voted for. I didn't vote to arm Ukraine. I go like this. I voted for just to get out of that conflict, let Ukraine and Russia deal with it, and if Ukraine wants to arm them, get weapons and shipments and all that, Europe is more than willing to give it to them. Yeah, let Europe arm them. Let the European nations arm them. We as Americans, we just want to go with this. Not our war, not our fight. Y'all want to deal with it? That is your shit. That is, guys. That is your shit. But to me, and I'm just gonna say this, to me, I wouldn't. No reason we want to get involved. We're being dragged to get involved. It's because we want to bring world peace. We want peace, world peace in this country, and world peace around the world. We're just trying to just end the conflicts and say, look, we're done with it. Look, we're done with it. Yeah. But I tell you, man, I tell you, we're done with this. And I'm sorry you heard the dings on my phone. I do apologize for that. But I will say this. We're done with it. Yeah. And the one thing I want to say, Ukraine, fuck you. Don't come don't come begging for money or weapons from America. We're not your piggy bank anymore. We will not arm you. We will not defend you. You want weapons and all that? Europe's willing to help. Europe's willing to help, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell people, Europe is willing to help you. You wanna arm yourself? You want weapons? You want shipments and all that? Ladies and gentlemen, Europe's willing to help. Okay, Europe, France, Germany, UK, Sweden. You know what I mean? The Dutch, the Netherlands. They're willing to help. They can arm them. Let that Ukraine conflict be Europe's problem. You know what I mean? But as for us as Americans, we want out. We want nothing to do with the Ukrainian conflict. We want nothing. We want zip, zilch, nada. We want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with the Ukrainian conflict because we already spent money that we can't even keep track of. We already gave them military gear, including what? Used Coast Guard cutters, what? Used F-16s that and used Bradley fighting vehicles and used M1 tanks. Telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we can't be the world's piggy bank anymore. We can't be funding needless and unnecessary wars. We can't. And Zelensky, we can't be funding dictators. I'm sorry to say this. We can't be funding tyrants and dictators. And if Zelensky thinks that we're gonna fund his dictatorship, fuck you, you little thug. Fuck you. And I'll say this. And I'll say this. I would rather let Russia deal with Ukraine than Europe. You know what I mean? Let Russia deal with the little tyrant and then maybe kick the little tyrant out and then let whoever comes in replaces that little tyrant. Yeah, it's pretty much that simple. It pretty much is. But the way I see it, no. We stop we stop sending shipments. We stop sending military gear because right now we're desperate. We're running out. We're running out of Patriot missiles. We're running out of ammunition. Yeah, we're running out. But you know the funny thing is, all the Ukrainian elites have not even like picked up the rifle to defend their territory. What Ukrainians have been sending is what? The poor, the middle class, and the criminals. Yeah. But if I were Russia, I would offer like an asylum to the Ukrainians and say, hey, look, I know you don't want to fight this conflict. We'll help you escape the conflict. Yeah, we'll help you flee the war zone. I would, if I were Putin, I would do that in less than 2 seconds. I'd say like this to any Ukrainian soldiers who were forcibly drafted to this war. If you want an escape, a way out, we will help you get a way out. That way, like this, Zelensky would be put into a corner, and then he would either have to make a peace deal or trade or like say like a truce. But to me, he wants to continue this war because he wants all the money to live up luxury. But I'm telling you, as soon as the money and the weapons dry up, he's done. His goose is cooked. And I wouldn't be surprised if his people turn on him. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But I but I tell you, if it shocks me that one day, and if it shocks me out of my diaper one day that Zelensky gets overthrown by his own people, I'd be like this. Oh, damn. As I'm in my diaper and t-shirt. I'd be like, oh, oh, damn. Yeah. Oh, damn. Really? I really would. But the way I see it, ladies and gentlemen, I told you so. I told you so. Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about this one incident that happened in Texas, and it became a I told you so was going to happen. I told you so. You have this like left wing Antifa anti-ICE who want to go after immigration and customs enforcement officers for enforcing immigration law because the Antifa anti-ICE left is pro illegal immigration, pro sanctuary city state, pro open borders, and they don't like ICE because ICE is enforcing the law. What happened was yesterday was that there was an ambush that Antifa, you know what I mean, the anti-ICE left tried to do on ICE officers. Luckily, didn't didn't go well for the anti-ICE left in the Andes and Brandy Tifas. And what happened was ICE officers, along with local, state, county, and state law enforcement, turned the tables on them, and these people that wanted to start a civil war with ICE and law enforcement basically got the Letter treatment, and basically got they basically got to meet the, let's just say it like this, they basically got right with God and Jesus or whoever. Okay, they got right with them. But to me, this became the I told you so this was going to happen. Because I've been saying this a lot of time. The anti-ICE left, the Antifas, the Andes and Brandy Tifas, and the tranny Tifas, they were going to try to start a civil war. And to me, this civil war didn't last long. And just today, there are 10, AUSA has announced that they're going to be seeking federal charges that could land them in federal prison for the next, what, 15 to life? Yeah. So, which means this is sending shockwaves saying that, oh, they wanted to go after ICE, they wanted to go after law enforcement because law enforcement was taking away their illegal immigrants. Yeah. So now these people that law enforcement has captured, you screwed yourself for the next 15 to life, guys. You basically screwed yourself. You basically have, guys. You'll be lucky if you get out on parole. And mind you, guys, the federal prison system has no such thing as parole and probation. So sadly, these anti-ICE thugs, these anti-ICE leftists, are probably starting to realize that this is not like state or like state level. This is federal level. Federal level, if you're sentenced to 15 years in a day, you are going to be doing 15 years in a day. Unlike state, at the state level, you get a little leeway where you would probably have to do what, 85% to be out on parole. So if you're sentenced to 15 years, you're probably going to have to do the mandatory 10 10 or like 13 years, you know what I mean? Or 12 years before you're eligible to be let out on parole. But, the anti-ICE left, the Andes, Brandies, and tranny Tifas, they probably don't have the brain cell or the brain capacity to think and understand that they fucked themselves over. They fucked themselves into a corner that they're never gonna get out. And the fact that they did this at a federal level, they're gonna be sitting in federal prison somewhere in the middle of a godforsaken nowhere where where you're probably never gonna get visitors, okay? And if you have tranny TFers that did this, I'm sorry to say this, you're not gonna be going to a federal women's prison. You're probably gonna be going to a federal men's prison, ladies and gentlemen. So they're probably going to be going to a federal men's prison, and if these crimes warrant, like, if they're doing 15 or 20, they're probably going to be in a U.S. penitentiary, which is a maximum security prison, and many of them are in the middle of nowhere. So I'm gonna say this, man. Andy and Brandy Tifa, you fucked yourselves. You cucked yourselves. I feel sorry for you people. I really do, guys. I really, really do. I mean, literally, man. Literally, you people screwed yourself. You people really did. Yeah, you people really did, man. You think that by attacking law enforcement, that's going to help your cause? No, it's going to be the opposite. People are going to be like this. Let's start cracking down on these anti-ice left. Let's start cracking down on the Andes and Brandy Tiefers. I'm gonna say this right off the rip, and I'm gonna say this. I'm not surprised if they decide to bring back the '90s war on crime and use it to go after leftists, the Andes and the Brandies and the tranny Tiefers. I would not be surprised if they did, because for someone growing like who lived through the '90s and who saw the results of the war on crime, they went after everything, including quality of life crime. They went after everything and anything. It's like this: if you destroyed public property, you were off to jail instantly. You were never given. If you were given bail, it would be so high that you would have to stay until arraignment in some cases. If you assaulted somebody, it was not like, oh, you just got to go to the police station, do this and this, and you'll be out. No, you were locked up until the day you saw the judge, which was what? If it was like a Friday, you were stuck there for the weekend until Monday morning. Was that simple. But during the '90s, they cracked down on everyone, including gangs. Because back then in the '90s, gangs were like basically running wild. And that's how the '90s war on crime cracked down on gangs so much that a lot of gang members were doing basically 15 or 20 years in prison. Yeah, and some of them are already getting out because they're like getting to an old age. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Congress or state legislators decide to bring back the '90s era of war on crime and target leftists, liberals, the Andy, Brandy, and the Tranny Tifas, would not be surprised. Because if that were to happen, and instead of targeting gangs like what? Like the Bloods, the Crips, the Latin Kings, and instead target leftist groups like basically any leftist, liberal, Andy, Brandy, Tranny, Tifas. I'm telling you, man, you're probably gonna wind up being sent to prison for a minimum of what, 15 to life. And one thing I'm gonna say, this guys, I have friends who work in county jails, who work in corrections. Prison is the most racially segregated society in all of America. And if you're a leftist who thinks that, if you're like say a white leftist who's like an Antifa type, and you try to and they throw you in prison, you're not gonna last long, ladies and gentlemen, because prison is racially segregated. Yeah, you go based on your race. If you're Andy, Brandy, or Tranny Tifa, and you try to hook up with the blacks, they're gonna uh, you're gonna be the one that causes what, a lockdown. Yeah, you pretty much you pretty much. But you know what? Hey, let them, guys. Let them. Let them. Let them. But anyway, I want to talk about this from the Connecticut Centennial. The one big beautiful bill, a shrill Democratic laminate. And I'll read you the headline. In a shocking turn of events, the dastardly one big beautiful bill has passed, and we, the nation's proud pint-sized and perpetually shrill Democrats, are here to wail, gash in our teeth and warn you about the coming apocalypse, which we mean, of course, tax cuts for people who actually work for a living. Yeah, that one big beautiful bill that was passed, okay, it gave tax cuts for the poor, standard deductions were boosted, okay, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, child tax credit expanded, take home pay increased, job creation, tax relief for seniors, small business support, savings account for all, and then you have like what? Medicare reform, eligibility tightens, working seniors get more HSA love, bigger HSA contributions for the little guy, rural hospitals get to be reopened again, AI fights Medicare fraud, and then we get the myth that the left loves to push, like, oh, it's just for billionaires. Oh, it kicks people off Medicaid. And oh, it explodes the deficit. Work requirements are cruel. It makes life unaffordable. Well, here's the thing. The big beautiful bill gives the working class more money. And more money means they get to spend more. And what I like about the big beautiful bill is that it kicks people off of welfare. It kicks people off of welfare, Section 8. Okay? It kicks them off. Now, the good thing about that is it mandates mandatory work requirements. It tells them like this: well, if you want to stay on welfare, you have to work a minimum of a part time job. If you work a minimum of a part time job, we'll let you stay. But if you refuse, bye, we don't need you. See ya. Have a nice day. Good luck. Good luck with the real world out there. Pretty much. Pretty much. But then I see on social media like this, people complaining about, oh, I have 3,000, 4,000 in EBT food stamps. Now they're going to kick me out in 6 months. And oh, I have this, I have that. Excuses, excuses, excuses. These people are lazy. These people are like lazy freeloaders who don't even want to lift a damn finger and want to live the socialist dream that the left loves to push. Yeah, pretty much. But this is why it's like this. Many times I had my family who try to push me to get welfare. And I go like this, no, I am not getting welfare. Welfare is meant for the seniors, meant for the elderly, and meant for the physically disabled. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, now that this big beautiful bill is passed, now the federal government's saying, well, you can't get welfare anymore. You can if you have a documented medical disability or medical condition like HIV, AIDS, or leukemia, cancer, or any other health issue that can be certified by a doctor, then you get to stay on Medicaid. But I am all for kicking able bodied workers off food stamps in Section 8. My opinion on all that, food stamps should be for the elderly. Food stamps in Section 8 should be for the elderly, physically disabled, okay, intellectually disabled, and military veterans. It's that simple. It is. Especially for elderly people. Why is it that elderly people have to stand in line at a mobile food bank while while like a young mother who's doing TikTok videos about her EBT card with four or five with three or four kids, okay? That basically makes me mad. That basically pisses me off. That a senior citizen who worked their life only gets very little for food stamps and very little for Section 8. But a 20, 30-year old mother of three kids with how many single father, with how many men that she got pregnant by, gets $4,000 in food stamps and Section 8 housing? No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's dead wrong. That is dead wrong to me. That's why, to me, if I was a legislator in the state of Connecticut, oh, I would reform food stamps immediately. My 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 idea would be like this: if you're 65 and older, okay, if you reach the age of senior citizen, if you are physically and intellectually disabled, or a military veteran, you get to have food stamps. You get to have Section 8 housing. You do. You really do. But the fact that you have these entitled snobs who probably gotten food stamps from previous generation to previous generation and don't even work for a damn living are basically mooching off the people who work their ass off. And what's funny is many of them probably used your EBT on Amazon, which I think that should be removed in an instant. The only people who should be using EBT on Amazon are the elderly, physically and intellectually disabled, and military veterans. That's it. That's it. But to me, ladies and gentlemen, these people who say, "Oh, I can't work because I have this and this and this." Where's that letter from the doctor that says you have this and this and this? Why is the social worker not seeing this and this and this? Yeah, yeah. Why? And the people who say they have like like 3 or 4 or 5 kids from many different fathers, there should be a mandatory 6 month limit. That means 6 months, you're out. That means if you're not in school, if you're not in community college, trade school, or working part time, you don't you're out. Bye. Gone. Boom. And I think what the federal government should have done with this big beautiful bill, mandate mandatory Doge style audits on Medicaid, food stamps, and Section 8. Audit these people like no tomorrow. And I will bet you will find many of these left leaning Democrat voting like snobs working who refuse to work, who make what, how many babies, and then mooch off of welfare and Section 8 that a senior citizen and a physically or intellectually disabled person or military veteran could have used. Yeah. If I was a legislator in Connecticut, I would mandate mandatory audits, mandatory inspections. That means you get unannounced inspections of your Section 8 food stamps and all that. And if they find out that you can work but you're refusing, you get you get 6 months to find a job. And if you can't find and if you don't find a job in 6 months, or you're not enrolled in trade school or community college, you're off. You're off completely. You are out, off, and you will never be allowed to get food stamps ever again. It's that simple, guys. I would do that if I was a legislator in the state of Connecticut. If I was running as a legislator, that would be one of my policies that I would run on, is making sure that food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid go to the truly needy and not the freeloaders out there that are talking about, oh, how I got my EBT card, oh, how I'm getting to use that at McDonald's or Popeyes on taxpayers' dime. Those people should be kicked out immediately. Those people should be like, bye, gone, and we don't want you, we don't need you, we have no need for you. It's pretty much that simple, guys. It is. And that's why, guys, I'm going to say this loudly and clearly. Get the freeloaders, get the bums out. The people who need what, Section 8, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, are the truly needy. And the truly needy are what? The senior citizens, the physically and intellectually disabled, and military veterans. That's it. Okay. Medicaid, yeah, I believe, in my opinion, yeah, Medicaid should be a backup insurance for citizens, but they only get the basics. They only get like well, if you're in an emergency room or you need primary care, right there, that's it. Specialist care, that's a debatable issue. That's another debate right then and there. That is. But that's why, like I said, man, welfare fraud is rampant in this country. And it should be audited and rooted out immediately. And those who abuse it should be charged, with a crime and should be made examples of. Once you start making examples out of these people and charging them, people will stop immediately and they'll be like, look, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to prison for welfare fraud. I better come clean. It's that simple. They would. That's why we need to have some enforcement teeth on this. We really do. And And I believe we should have it. And if we don't, we're just basically shooting ourselves in the foot. We literally are, guys. We literally are. But, wow, that was a good show. That was an awesome, awesome show. And yes, guys, I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I gotta go do a diaper change because I know I pooped in my diaper and it doesn't do well with my skin. So I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.